and welcome to DSTE Presents Twin Peaks, or is it Mulholland Drive this week? Thought we'd get the hollow in there. It's the last chance we can do it. So,
Yeah.
just to introduce ourselves, my name's Richard.
My name's Linda.
Yeah, so hi Linda, are you okay? Yeah, so we're back with the final of Twin Peaks.
Yeah, it's good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you again, Linda. Yeah. The last episode we'll be recording of Twin Peaks. Mm-hmm. Well, possibly we might do one more retrospective in a few weeks or something.
See how it goes, because there's a lot to take in, isn't there? So I think you need a bit of time to get your head around it, kind of thing.
Yeah, trying to process it, kind of thing. I mean, what did we watch last night?
I mean, I loved it. I really did. But yeah. I know what you mean. It's like mind blowing, isn't it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, I was talking to you in work yesterday, and I was saying that some early word on the TV, on the reviews and stuff, was quite negative, saying that people were frustrated with it and stuff. And I was thinking, people always say this about Lynch, but after watching it, I can understand why maybe people are a bit frustrated. But I'm going to hold my verdict for the end. But so if you're okay, Linda, we'll just jump straight into it.
Go right ahead, Richard.
Yeah, great stuff. Okay. We'll jump straight into the finale. Part 17 first. And just to let you know as well, if I appear a bit vague with this one, I've not got many notes for it, primarily because I just couldn't face watching it twice in one night.
Yeah.
It's just such a mind-bending episode that
definitely.
I couldn't do watching it again for notes or anything. So I have got a few notes, but they're not as in-depth as I would like.
No, that's fine.
But hopefully just us talking about it will, bring it all back kind of thing. Yeah. Okay. We're going to pick up with Gordon Cole with Albert and Tammy. They're still in the hotel from the last episode where they killed fake Diane, which, do you know about this? People are calling them Tulsas. Tulsa.
Why are they called that? Like, have we heard this before? Or?
The only thing I can think of is that Tammy after the incident, Tammy's like, that's one hell of a Tulsa.
All right.
But it's almost like a Twin Peaks word for the clones, which I just didn't pick up on at all.
All right.
Loads of people are calling them this, but yeah, Tulsas apparently. Yeah. We pick up with Gordon right after they've got rid of the Diane Tulsa. And Gordon is just saying to Albert and Tammy, I couldn't do it. When it came to it, I couldn't kill her. And Albert says to her, you're getting soft in your old age. And it's like, hey, I'm still hard where it counts. I enjoyed that just a little.
It's like, didn't you say I'm not where it counts? Kind of.
Yeah,
I love that though, because while I was doing that, Tammy was just doing some look in her eye kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that, I think that's indicating that those two are definitely up to stuff.
Well, I mean, we're talking in work today. I wouldn't be surprised if Lynch, the old dog, was up to something in real life as well.
No, I think he's an honourable man. He's got a wife.
Not trying to disparage him or anything.
He's got a wife. He's got kids. I think he's an honourable man. If
David Lynch is listening, don't get your lawyers involved or anything. I'll take it back. So going from there, we have a few other comments. Yeah, so it seems like Gordon and Tammy are having an exposition party here or something. They're getting out a lot of information that we've never known before. For the sake of the audience more than anything. Gordon mentions to Albert and Tammy about Zhao Day.
Zhao Day, yes. Yeah.
The negative evil entity Zhao Day, which we know as Judy. Which has been mentioned countless times throughout the show. I'm thinking now that Judy is the experiment thing. Yeah,
because, we've not actually seen anything more of the experiment since pretty much episode 1, have we? So
yeah, that's right. It was in episode 8 in that flashback that gave birth to Bob. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, we're not really...
Barely seen anything more.
And someone was trying to catch it back in episode 1 in that box. Which
yeah.
Well, I'm guessing it was Evil Coop now looking back. I think he was doing all that. Because we're going to get to... I'm going to go all over the place here with theories and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that Evil Coop's point all along was he was trying to meet these, like, entities, either the experiments or the fireman in the White Lodge. He was trying to meet... He was following coordinates that would take him there, basically. That's what we now know.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that, but... So I'm guessing that Evil Coop was trying to catch the experiment, a.k.a. Judy, if that's what it is. But Gordon gives the whole background to Judy being a negative entity, and then apologises to Albert. Also, before he does that, he tells him that him and Coop had a plan. He said, like, if Coop ever goes missing, you do everything you can to find me. So we're led to believe that's what Gordon has been doing for the last 25 years, kind of thing. And it's almost like part of a plan, kind of thing. Like, Coop's had this long plan to find Judy.
Yeah.
Again, this is out of nowhere. This has come out completely out of nowhere. And Gordon apologises to Albert for not telling him earlier. And Albert's like, "That's fine. I understand completely." And I just like the way that Gordon says, like, "I know you understand, but I'm sorry anyway." You know, just a nice little weird comment.
Yeah, I like that.
So that's pretty much it there. Just fills him in with the background. And we then cut to the FBI, where Cooper was at the hospital. The FBI there with Bushnell, his old manager, Nolan Bushnell. Is it all?
I feel like he came in a few seconds later, didn't he? Because they were on the phone, weren't they?
They were on the phone, and Bushnell Mullins was it? Sorry, that was right.
Yeah.
And he can hear in the background that it's Gordon Cole on the phone. And he's like, "Is that Gordon Cole?" And eventually they get to talk to each other, and he tells him that Coop's on the way to Spokane, Washington, and he had that message for him. And he's like, "Who are you, sir?" And he's like, "I'm Bushnell Mullins, his boss." And he's like, "Yep, same here, I'm his boss too." Quite like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, a little throwaway scene there. So we know then that Gordon...
I loved from the note, like the note, he knew straight away it was like the real Dale Cooper because of the way, like, I think it was the way he said, like, "Oh, it's 10:05 or something." But because the note was very Dale-esque. So, like, he was like, "Oh, bloody hell." So Dougie is Dale. Wow, amazing.
Yeah. So he figures it out from that, yeah.
Just from the note, because it's, like I say, it's very, very Dale-esque, what was said.
Yeah, definitely. And you okay to move on from that scene?
Yeah.
We've got another little throwaway scene here where Benjamin Horn gets a phone call telling him that his brother Jerry has been found in Wyoming, I think it is.
Yeah.
How did he get to Wyoming?
See, I don't know, because wasn't it in Twin Peaks where, like, his binoculars killed someone?
I thought it was.
I thought it was in Twin Peaks, but thinking about it, Evil Dale wouldn't have been in, because he had to travel. Well, we'll find out later on, but he had to travel a different means, didn't he, to get to Twin Peaks?
Yeah, but I mean, if that's the case, how's Jerry gone from the woods of Twin Peaks to Wyoming on foot? Maybe
he just walked that far.
Yeah, possibly. Just a weird one, but this is the last time we see Benjamin Horn. This is him signing off for the TV show. That's just a little throwaway scene there. We find out that Jerry has been found in Wyoming.
Wait, he was found naked, was he not, as well?
I think so, yeah.
I think his brother was asked to bring clothes because he was naked. Don't know what happened to his clothes, but...
Yeah. We then go from there to... Now we're getting into it now. We pick up with Evil Cooper. And he's turned up at the coordinates that he was given. The correct coordinates that was on the body of Ruth from episodes ago now.
Yeah.
Turns up at the woods in I think this is still Glastonbury Grove. It looks different to the old TV show, but, it's going to be hard to recreate a scene from 25 years ago, but it looks a bit different. And it's similar to the Jack Rabbit's Palace from a few episodes ago.
I actually think it might be a different area.
I was thinking that.
Because of, I think it's in the next episode, there's a scene and that seems very much like the one from the original series.
Definitely, that's definitely Glastonbury Grove. That one
That's
that
what I
it
mean.
comes out at, yeah.
So I feel like this one's a different one altogether. Like,
Yeah. So he's got there with the coordinates, and the portal appears to him, which we've seen a few episodes ago, which appeared to that Andy went into to get. Well, I think we can assume now it is the White Lodge that he went into, where the fireman is, and like we're led to believe that Evil Coop's whole motive is this, to get into the White Lodge, to meet these people for whatever reason, I don't know. We're led to believe that because with him being like a clone of Cooper, that we now know that was Cooper's mission, basically, to find Judy. You know that. So is he just kind of blindly following a mission that he's almost like in his DNA almost to follow what Cooper was trying to do?
I don't know. I think he might have some ulterior motive, but I'm not quite sure. I think you've said in the past that you think Judy might be like the big bad boss kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if like he was trying to use it for his advantage kind of thing.
Maybe.
As a weapon, maybe, but...
I mean, we'll never know now what Cooper's motive actually was, because he gets into the White Lodge. A really weird scene, and he's trapped immediately in like a cage. Yeah. He's on one side, the Giant's on the other, and a big floating head of Don S. Davis is just floating about.
So, like I love that. Because like all season we've seen that, we've found his body, and we've known his body's been around, but we've never known where his head is. I think we've seen his head in one of the earlier episodes floating around space.
Yeah, we did, yeah. Episode 2 or 3, that was, I think, yeah.
And, but this is the first time we've like just seen it, and he didn't say anything, it just floating.
But I mean, looking back to that now, I'm dying to go back and watch all of this again. That episode where he spots the head floating through space, right before that bit, the woman that we now know is Diane, like electrocutes herself on the electric kettle thing and falls off into the ether. Yeah, remember that? But we now know that was Diane.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just stuff like that. I'd love to watch it again, just to rewatch all that stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah. Okay. We then go from there to Evil Cooper is like turned into like a black ball or something.
It's kind of like, I think in episode 8, we seen a similar thing, didn't we? With Laura Palmer being put into a map.
Yeah.
Through the same means.
Yeah, she was like a gold ball, wasn't she, or something? Yeah. But this is like a black kind of, a bit like the Bob ball that we're going to see later on.
Yeah.
He becomes this weird ball, and is then through the gramophone projected into the image, which is now the sheriff station.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm trying to. I don't think logic has got anything to do with this anymore, but I'm trying to piece together that he got the coordinates on the arm of Ruth Davenport.
Yeah.
They were put there by the White Lodge to lead him there deliberately, so he would fall into their trap because they want him at the sheriff station.
Yeah,
because that's where Freddy is.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I'm guessing. Like,
well, I mean, we'll get into it in a bit in the next couple of scenes, but like there's something that Cooper says in a bit when he's talking to Freddy. It's almost as if it was all one big elaborate plan.
Exactly. This is what I mean. Like, it's like Cooper's had one big plan the whole time. Like, we've just not known about it. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. So he gets fired out at the sheriff station. He looks a bit miffed.
Yeah.
He's in the car park and Andy's there, and Andy spots him. And Andy's like, "Oh, Agent Cooper," blah, blah. And he's like, "Yeah, hello, Andy." And this whole scene plays out. I mean, watching it for the first time, I was like on the edge of my seat, thinking, he could kill Andy, he could kill Lucy at any point.
I thought Andy was going to die. I'm not going to lie, but
yeah. And he tells Evil Cooper, "Come on in, go meet Sheriff Truman." So he goes in, meets Lucy at reception, and they take him through to meet Frank Truman.
Yeah.
And again, if I'm missing out on anything here, to jump in, because it's such a kind of convoluted series of events. This. He then goes in to meet Frank Truman. In the meantime, we cut away to meet Freddie, James, Chad, and at this point, she's known as Nado or Nado.
I mean, it's a throwaway bit, like completely. But I just wanted to bring up the fact that he got offered coffee, and and he turned it down. So like that was the first, like I think even Andy at that point was like, oh, okay,
yeah, your first giveaway that
that this isn't the right person. Like.
Yeah, anyone in Twin Peaks turning down coffee is definitely a bad sign. Yeah, so we jump back to the cells. And here, Chad has basically got a plan to escape. He gets hold of a skeleton key, is that right?
Which was in his boot, wasn't it?
Yeah, trying to get his boots.
But the weird thing about this scene, I didn't quite get it, because he was waiting for that ill-looking man.
I didn't get that to fall asleep or something, yeah.
So, like, I don't understand, like, why he needed him to not be looking at him, because he didn't look like he was going to be able to stop him at any point.
I don't get that. Like, and even if they could all see what he was doing, what could they do? Like,
exactly,
they can't get to him, so shout a bit, maybe get some ruckus going. But
yeah, maybe.
I was thinking this, but yeah, he gets the skeleton key, lets himself out, and arms himself with a few guns or whatever it is. Andy at this point comes down. There's another weird bit here. I'm all over the place here, but there's a weird scene where Andy has like a premonition. I think it might be just before this bit.
It was, yeah.
When he's upstairs, he remembers the scene from the White Lodge where he places Lucy in a position, but that never comes back. I don't think, anyway.
Yeah.
I thought it would almost play into, like, he puts Lucy there and she's then going on to shoot Evil Cooper, but I'm sure we never come back to that. Or maybe he did it off camera and that's why she was there. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, because she answered the phone, didn't she, when he went off?
Yeah.
As we know from the next scene.
So there's a weird one. But then, cut back to this, Andy walks in, Chad's holding him at gunpoint, saying, like, finally,
again, I've started, fucking hell, he's actually going to die this episode, isn't he, Andy?
If it's not Cooper, it's going to be Chad.
No, I thought it was going to be Andy this episode. Like,
yeah.
Because it's...
Also, that's really, if it wasn't Cooper killing him, it's got to be Chad killing him kind of thing, yeah. He comes down, he's holding him at gunpoint, but as he's walking towards Andy, Freddy, with his gardening glove power, punches the cell door open and just completely KOs Chad.
Yeah.
And that's the last we see of Chad. He gets chained up.
Like, it's in this same scene, isn't it, that Andy's like, I need to get you all upstairs.
It is. I mean, I wasn't sure if it was this bit. It must be the premonition that made him think to get everyone upstairs.
Maybe, yeah.
I thought first it might be the gunshot, maybe, when it goes off.
Oh, God, yeah, it was. Sorry, it was the gunshot.
It was?
So, like, it'll be after this next scene.
Yeah, so we cut away from there. We cut back to the office, and Frank and Evil Cooper are having a conversation. Like I say, I think Sheriff Truman can tell that something's not right.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, he gets the phone call, which Lucy puts through to him, which is good Cooper.
But, like, I think Lucy was even on to him at this point, because she got the phone call at first, and she's like, who? And like, when she realised it was actually Cooper, I think she was like, okay, so what's going on here? And she obviously puts him through and says, it's the one with the blinking light, as she always does.
It's very important. Truman takes the phone call, and Good Cooper explains that, well, first of all, he's like, can I talk to Sheriff Truman? And he's like, yeah, I am Sheriff Truman. Is it like, Harry, what,
I think he says, it's like, oh, this is his brother, Frank.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And he explains exactly what's going on. At which point, you know that Evil Cooper knows something is going wrong. And basically puts the phone down. And they have like almost like a standoff kind of thing with the guns.
I think like at the exact same time they pull the guns, and you hear a gunshot as soon as they're pulled, and you're just like, whoa, what the fuck's happened?
Yeah. At first I thought Frank was dead here, because it clearly was a shot him through the hat or something. His hat wobbled. But then the camera pulls back and it's Lucy who's shot Evil Cooper.
Yeah, still good. Like I actually like pretty much stood up and cheered at this point. I was like, yes, Lucy, go on.
Yeah,
I'm so happy.
She has a little punchline at the end. I now know how cellular phones work.
I think she says that when Andy comes up.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah. So like after that, Andy hears it. It's like, oh God, I need to get you all upstairs.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming he knew to take them upstairs because of his premonition. So he had the premonition that he needs to move people into the correct places and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that's what it was anyway.
Yeah, so he takes them all upstairs, and they're all in Sheriff Truman's office. Is this the point where Coop comes in?
At first, like you say, Lucy says her line to
Yeah.
Andy. She's like, Andy, I think I understand cellular phones now.
Yeah.
And then pretty much straight away, Cooper runs in.
I think Cooper comes in and the woodsmen turn up working on evil Cooper's body.
Just another line from before, actually. When wait, was it? I think he stayed on the phone. Sorry, with Frank the whole time.
Does he?
He stayed on the phone because Cooper heard it over the phone.
Oh yeah, that's
and he,
right.
And he actually said to him, he said, "Don't. Whatever you do, don't touch that body. Don't touch that body." So
yeah,
like,
that's right.
Frank was just like, "Okay." Andy came up and he's like, "Yeah, don't touch the body."
Yeah, he's getting everyone.
I think
into place.
Hawk then walks in.
Hawk turns in and goes to touch the body, and
he says Cooper said not to touch it, and Hawk says, "But that is Cooper."
yeah.
And he's like, yeah, no.
Yeah, so the series of events in this bit is so complicated. We've got Lucy shoots evil Cooper.
Yeah.
The woodsman, at this point, I think, remove Bob from the body.
They're doing that thing where they're just kind of smearing blood over his face and stuff.
So weird.
And then, like you say, the Bob bubble comes out.
Yeah. They remove the Bob bubble. At this point, I think Coop runs in because the bubble goes after him first.
Yeah.
And he bats it away or whatever. And at this point, he realises that he knows who Freddy is.
Yeah. Oh.
I think he just says something like, "Are you Freddy?"
Yeah, he did. He went, "Are you Freddy?" Yeah. And he's like, yeah. And I think he does tell him to punch it, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he says, "This is my destiny" or something. So yeah, Freddy has like a boxing match with.
Like
with
this Bob Bubble's like ripping him a new one. Like it's proper like blooding up his face and stuff.
Did you get a feeling of the experiment back in episode 1? The way that clawed at people's faces.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, like that's like attacking him. He's getting beat at points, but he'll strike back with his gardening glove. And basically it goes back and forth. At one point, I thought Freddy was done for. Like he gets knocked down about a third time or something, but he eventually gets back up. He punches Bob through the floor first.
Into like some hell or something.
Yeah, flames come out of the floor.
Yeah.
Which is so weird. But Bob comes back again, has one last go, but then eventually he just punches him so hard it just explodes and just disappears through the ceiling. Like, very weird.
Very weird.
Yeah.
And then I think at this point, Dale puts the ring on evil Cooper.
Yeah, that's right.
And he then disappears.
Sends him back to the Black Lodge. We just see the ring clank to the floor in the Black Lodge as usual. I wonder why Coop sent Ray there. Or just to get rid of the ring. Why evil Coop sent Ray there a few episodes ago. I think just to put the ring back in the Black Lodge, basically. That was why he did it. But, yeah.
But then the ring was given by the one-eyed man to Good Dale.
Cooper, yeah, so we then go to the woodsman remove Bob. Freddy kills him. Rings put on evil Coop. We then get a bit of there's a few events here that I might get them out of order, but I think first of all, he gets the key from Frank Truman.
Yeah, he asks Frank, like, have you got the key from the Old Western?
The Great Northern.
I did that last time, didn't I?
I think it was Best Western he said last time.
So what was it called again?
The Great Northern.
The Great Northern.
Now this is interesting because, I mean, the key symbolism, Mulholland Drive, again, it's come back to a blue key in that film. He wants the key from Sheriff Truman, but he never uses it. He never goes to his room at the Great Northern. He goes to the Great Northern, but he goes to the basement. He doesn't go to his room, so he never uses that key. So
he used it to open that door.
Did he use it for that door?
He used it for that door, yeah.
Right.
But just before we go to that bit though, like the whole time, like this conversation was happening, like Dale's face was superimposed over the entire scene, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And in fact, we seen before we even get to that point, I think we get Diane back.
That comes after, I think.
Does it actually?
Yeah, I think so. He has a bit of a speech, then Diane comes back after that.
All right.
Yeah. So he gets the key back. He tells him that Major Briggs said, I would get the key from Sheriff Truman. And of course, I didn't say which Sheriff Truman, you know. So he gets the key for the Great Northern. He then has a bit of a speech where, at this point, we've been joined by the Mitchums with Candy, Mandy and Sandy, with sandwiches for everyone.
Hadn't Gordon come as well with Albert and Tammy?
I think so. He turns up at some point, definitely.
Definitely does.
Again, I'm just totally not sure now what happens in what order at this bit, but he has a speech where he tells them all. This is definitely important. Tells them all things will change. The past dictates the future. So, like, the way I'm going to be, I'm going to come back to it later, but that is going to be episode 18, basically. I think. And after that, then we get Diane back, who is NATO at the moment, a woman with dark hair, with a face with all these gouge marks over it,
and no eyes.
What actually triggers this?
I can't actually remember.
I think she just walks forward and a face kind of turns into this black portal with like weird, horrible flesh marks around it or something.
Which is to the Black Lodge, I think, wasn't it?
It then appears in the Black Lodge, surrounded by Black Lodge stuff.
Yeah.
There's like a shadow of Diane's face in it, the new Diane.
Yeah.
And it then transports back to the office, and eventually Diane's face just appears over the black portal thing, and so it's Diane.
But with red hair.
With red hair, good Diane this time, yeah.
Good Diane with red hair.
They made her look a bit better than the other Diane as well, like, you know, more makeup on and stuff like that. So, so Diane's
and
back.
she's not constantly telling people to fuck off and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we get what we assume is the good Diane back. Coop and her embrace because they must have had
like the relationship was obviously closer than we previously thought. It wasn't just like an assistant. It seemed like they were actually an item.
Because when he went into the Black Lodge in Series 2, he was going out with Annie Blackburn at that point. So
that's what I mean.
Forget Annie now. She doesn't matter.
That's what I mean. I don't know what quite happened. But unless this whole plan was started before the series, before the events of season 1 even, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll get into it in the next episode, but it could be mental.
As you mentioned, during this whole scene, there's been like a superimposed image of Cooper's face. It's only a little detail. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I'm sure that it's not even a still frame of Cooper. Like the whole time, it's been like just an actual recording of his face. Because he's moving and stuff. You know what I mean? It's not like just a still image of him superimposed. That's weird. And eventually, he talks as well. And he says we live inside a dream.
Yeah.
Which is very close to what Monica Bellucci said a few episodes ago.
Gordon's dream, wasn't it?
Yeah. And again, dream ideas, you know, dream mythology, Mulholland Drive.
Going back to what you said at the beginning, or is it Mulholland Drive? That this is why, because we think it's becoming very similar to...
Definitely, very similar. Alternate realities, time travel, dream symbolism, keys.
And to be fair, like you actually called this like very early on in the in this series. You actually said like you think it's just basically going to be Mulholland Drive.
Well, I actually said at the time I think Mulholland Drive will turn out to be a secret Twin Peaks film. I think it's the other way around now. I think this Twin Peaks series is turning out to be a secret Mulholland Drive TV show. Yeah. Pretty much.
I can buy that.
Yeah. So we then go from there. Gordon's joined by this point. The Mitchums have joined. Look like they're all ready to have a big party, but Coop tells them, I'd love to see you all again one day. I really hope I see you all again one day. And then we just have this like black shaking effect kicks in. And you can just hear Gordon and Coop shouting to each other. Did you see that? Like, Gordon's going, Coop.
Yeah, and Coop shouting, Gordon.
Yeah. Oh. And they both just kind of get transported to like this black area.
With Diane.
With Diane as well. The three of them. I think that the Diane symbolism, why she's so important all of a sudden, I think it's just purely because Lynch loves Laura Dern and Cal McLaughlin together. Because they're both in Blue Velvet he just loves the idea of them two being together on screen kind of thing. So that's why Diane now has become part of this three, him, Gordon, and Diane. And this bit now is we pick up in the basement of the Great Northern, I believe.
Is that where it is?
Yeah, Great Northern Hotel.
So are we saying that Freddie and James were like working there as security?
Outside the basement the other week kind of thing.
Yeah.
And another thing that ties it in is when we get close to the door in the basement that James went close to the other week, there's that really weird humming noise.
Yeah.
And you could hear that throughout the Great Northern.
True, yeah.
Yeah,
true.
Benjamin and his assistant were like, it's coming from over here kind of thing. Yeah, so they're in the basement of the Great Northern, and Cooper at this point is going in on his own.
He actually says to the other two, like, I'm going through this door, and by no, like, whatever happens, don't ever follow me through, kind of thing.
And he tells Diane, I'll see you at the curtain call.
Yeah.
Which we literally get to a curtain call. Like, there's literally a curtain there when we don't see him after that. So, he leaves them two, goes into this room in the basement of the Great Northern, which then takes him to the convenience store.
Yeah.
This is right into it.
Well, it was that courtyard, wasn't it?
Well, first of all, he goes into the convenience store.
Oh, sorry, yes.
With the stairway.
Yeah, that's what happened with Evildale, wasn't it? Like, he goes into the convenience store.
It's there first.
It's through the back door.
Got to go up the stairs first. A really weird thing, though. I'd love to know more about this. I don't know if there's any theories out there, but as he goes up the stairs, there's the weird image of that, like, mad little demon thing coming down the stairs with that white mask on. That was all over Firewalk with Me, the movie. I'd love to know what that is. I've got no idea. That comes down the stairs and just disappears.
Yeah, mad.
So Cooper goes up. Oh, at this point, Mike has joined him, the one-armed man. He was in the convenience store waiting for him. And he repeats that poem to him that ends with Firewalk with Me.
This time, it wasn't in reverse, any of the things he said, was it?
No, because he's not in the Black Lodge at this point. It's like a different thing into the... Yeah. So they go up, they go through the courtyard. Did they go to a different room this time, or I couldn't really tell?
I honestly couldn't tell you.
Yeah, but the main point of it is they're going to meet the David Bowie kettle for the last time. One little point I did like, earlier in the episode, Gordon referred to Philip Jeffries, and he said that he doesn't really exist anymore.
Yeah.
Because he's become this tea kettle, whatever it is, but... It said he's still alive, but he doesn't, or something like that. He's still around, but he doesn't really exist anymore. Yeah. But it's like Bowie himself, isn't it? Don't you think? Like he's still around, he's still famous. His music's still out there, but he doesn't really exist anymore.
Mental.
Yeah. So we then cut to a meeting with the Bowie kettle. There's some weird dialogue in this, but I haven't really got the notes of what's said. But it's stuff like Cooper's asking the Bowie kettle to go back to 1989, basically.
Yeah.
Which is the date of Lowe's death.
Yeah.
And the Bowie kettle makes comments like, be specific, stuff like that. And he says, yep, no problem, it's very slippery in here, just give me a minute or something. Just weird little comments he's making. And eventually he spits out that, like, weird symbol that we've seen all over the show.
I think you've, in previous episode, you said it might have been a dog.
Well, I thought it could refer back to the black dog runs at night thing.
And I think I actually said it might be an ant or something. And it turns out we're both wrong.
Both wrong. I think you know what it is in the end. I think it's just 3 mountains.
Really?
Yeah, looking at it now. Do you know what I mean?
I can see what you
the
mean,
Twin Peaks thing. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it kind of
or 2 mountains and a diamond or something like.
But it kind of took the outside mountains, if that's what we're going with.
Yeah.
And they put them together and basically formed a figure 8.
Ended up being a figure 8. I think it's like an infinity sign almost or something. I know it's on its side kind of thing, but
it had almost like a little pinball.
Yeah, moving around the lower part of it. I'm wondering if is this like how he travels through time or something. I have no idea, but yeah, I've got no idea what's going on with that.
Yeah,
I mean, earlier in the show, like again, Evil Coop's been looking for this. So, what was his motives? You know what I mean? I've got no idea.
I think it's this Judy character. Oh, Judy.
Oh, they mentioned Judy at this point. The Bowie kettle says to him, "You'll find Judy there," when he sends him back.
All right.
Yeah. And he says, right, you can go in. So it's like he can travel back in time to 1989. And then the one-armed man goes, electricity, and that's what sends him back, I presume, or something. But yeah, he goes back. And the next 20 minutes or so, we're just watching Firewalk with me in black and white. Do you remember this?
Yeah, sorry, I was skipping ahead to the next episode in my head then.
Oh, okay.
We were basically just watching Firewalk with me, wasn't
I have got this in the right order, haven't I? I'm terrified of getting some of this wrong, but...
No, yeah.
Sends him back. It's all black and white. And again, we're just watching Firewalk with me now, basically. It's a scene where James and Laura are in the woods. This is an amazing piece of retcon in this. Because in the actual film, there's the scene where Laura looks over James's shoulder and just screams, because there's presumably something in the woods.
Yeah.
And now we know it was Cooper.
Amazing, that, isn't it?
She can see Cooper and screams. She has some dialogue as well that she says to him something like, "The Laura you like is not me. Is not here anymore." Just more dialogue pointing to like, is she a Tulsa? You know what I mean? Just stuff like that. Like, is she like a doppelganger or something? Maybe, yeah. You know, I'm just throwing it out there, but again, that scene always sticks out to me in the actual film Firewalk with me, because she looks over the shoulder and shrieks at nothing. Yeah. And then she says stuff like, you know, you don't know who I am. I'm not the Laura you love. Yeah. Weird dialogue like that. That it's almost like she's talking to Cooper and not James. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I can see what you're saying.
Lynch could have planned that 25 years ago. It's weird, but
I mean, if he didn't though, like that's really good though. Like that, how he's managed to pull
to
that
do
out.
It. Well, I think he does a lot of that. I think he just throws stuff out there and makes sense of it later on, kind of thing. Yeah. Because a lot of Twin Peaks was just done on the fly. Because Cal McLachlan wouldn't come back for the film, he changed whole aspects of the film, and they've gone on to become part of the mythology. You know, just stuff like that kind of thing. Yeah. Stuff that he just did out of necessity have gone on to become like massive parts of the whole mythology. Yeah. And basically the whole point of this scene is we see the whole thing play out again. But at the point where Laura runs off to the woods, she doesn't go to meet up with Jacques and Ronette and Leo. Yeah. Cooper intercepts her.
Basically stops her, doesn't he?
Yeah. And has an exchange with her.
Well, he doesn't say out, does he? She's talking, he's saying like who are you kind of thing. But he just kind of puts his hand out and just says, yeah, come on.
Yeah, takes her by the hand and starts to lead her through the woods. And at this point, it's like almost like a shift in the timeline now. We see like an alternate episode 1 of Twin Peaks, the pilot, where we see the morning after the murder. We see Josie Packard putting her makeup on, and
yeah, I love because I'm not sure if like I'm just not remembering right, but these must have been like extra scenes that were filmed, mustn't they? Because I don't remember any of these scenes from the original.
Oh, really? They were definitely in there. Yeah, this is the pilot.
These were actually original.
The difference with this one is when I can't think of his name now. The guy, the guy who's going out fishing.
Yeah,
I can't even think now who that is. But he leaves the house to go fishing, and he's walking down the road. But in the old show, he spots the body down on the beach. But they've just edited the body out now, so it's not there because she never died in this timeline.
But he just carries on walking.
He just carries on walking now because there's nothing to notice.
So, I mean, he's carried on walking now.
I'll have to go back and check. I'm not sure whether
I don't.
I think he might have walked to that point, then looked back and seen the body. Do you know what I mean? Right, but I'll have to double check that, to be honest. Yeah. I'd love to go back now and just watch the whole thing again just for stuff like this. So we now believe that Laura didn't die. This is how I'm reading it anyway.
Well, we seen at the beginning of this shot that the dead body disappeared from the beach, so she's not dead.
Again, I don't want to be too literal because obviously Lynch doesn't do stuff literally, but That's how I'm reading it. Reading it that literally he's changed the timeline by doing this.
I think that's what it is, yeah.
And I've got to admit, I was thinking at this point, I was like, this is genius. He's going to retcon the whole thing and save Laura Palmer, like, but we don't get there. It goes down a different path, but...
Well, before, like, it cuts to this, like, episode 1 scenes and stuff, like, he's obviously pulling her through the forest and gets to that area which Evil Dale was at earlier.
Yeah, the Jack Rabbit's palace thing.
Which is basically the entrance to what we think's the White Lodge now.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, you hear, like, that's horror, like, terrifying scream of hers.
You hear, like, some, like, weird electrical clicking or something.
Like, click, click, and then like, her horrifying scream.
Yeah.
And she's just not there anymore. But... I mean, are we assuming she's gone in there, or...?
Again, I'm being really literal here, but I'm reading this... I'm pretty sure this isn't what it is, but the Bowie kettle mentioned as Judy's there.
Yeah.
So I think Judy's taken Laura. Judy knows what Cooper's trying to do by changing the timeline and doesn't let him do it. He whatever it is, takes Laura to some alternate dimension just to screw things up for Cooper. That's that's just literally how I've took it on face value.
Yeah, okay.
Just because he mentions that Judy's
sense,
there.
Yeah. Right, I'm just thinking to the end of the next episode, so it actually kind of makes sense.
Just the fact there's that clicking noise, like as if something was there kind of thing. So that's why I'm reading that. Clicking noise, we hear Laura scream, and I think that's why the episode... Oh, there's one final scene of, in the Palmer household, Sarah Palmer, you heard some weird noises off screen for ages in the house.
Sorry, my head's a bit mashed here, so I'm trying to think. Right, the what happened was, like, that scream happened, and then the episode 1 thing happened, didn't it?
Episode 1 thing. See, this is what I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether he was walking with her. Then it showed the episode 1 thing, because I'm sure I remember at one point thinking, "Oh my god, this is genius! It's going to be a happy ending. He's going to save the day with everything." But then it comes back to it, and she disappears, I think.
Oh, right.
I think so. I might be wrong on that, but...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not actually sure, so you're probably right.
I'm not sure myself, but either or, like, let's say it's kind of the same result, isn't it?
But like you said, the final scene, if I'm correct, it's the Sarah Palmer one, isn't it?
Yeah, you're hearing this weird, like, moaning and sobbing off screen. And eventually, I think she just runs in screen, does she? On shot, and starts smashing a picture of Laura Palmer with, like, a vodka bottle or something.
Well, like, she kind of, like, knocks it onto the floor at first, and it's almost like she's stabbing it, like, with a thing, and
proper attacking the picture.
Maybe that's because, like, she's one of these, what are we calling them?
Tulsas.
Maybe she's one of them. Well, we know from a previous episode that she must be something.
Something's not right with her, is it?
Because we've seen, like, her face open and stuff, haven't we?
Yeah.
So, like, there's something about that house, but we'll
definitely. We'll come back to that.
We'll definitely get into that, I think.
I think that might be a reaction to whatever Cooper's doing.
That's
by
right,
changing some timeline. It's like made her worse or something. Like, in this timeline, Laura might not have died that night, but something worse might happen now. You know what I mean? Like, so we'll never know.
I don't think that's Sarah though. I think that's like a doppelganger or something. I think, like, it's the doppelganger that's angry because what was supposed to happen didn't happen, or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Cooper's changed the order in which things are supposed to happen, and that's potentially angered some Tulsas.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know. It's hard to get my head around, but
I've got to admit, this episode came that close to giving me what I thought I wanted from, like, the whole show.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to get a happy ending. I thought Cooper would vanquish Freddie did it really, but get rid of Bob, and he was going to, like, rewrite the whole show, and, like, Laura Palmer would never have died, and it'd be a big, nice, happy ending. And I thought I wanted that until we get to where we actually end up.
Yeah, like, I know what you mean.
Yes, we came that close, but then that last 2 minutes of this episode just knocks it all on its head.
Just, like, I know at one point it comes out into the Grove. Is that in the next episode?
Start of the next episode.
Is it? My bad. But we'll get into that in a second then.
Yeah, so that's the end of... Oh, it ends with a performance by Julie Cruz.
Julie Cruz, who we know was... I think you've said today that she was in this season. I
think I'm wrong about that. I think you were right. I think it's literally from the old show.
I know she was in season, like, one of the first 2 seasons. Because I looked her up. I was like, who's this? Julie Cruz, and I seen a picture of her, and she was in the Roadhouse, and she was a young girl, essentially. So, well, I say young girl, 25 years ago. She's obviously gonna look a bit older, isn't she? So,
yes, I think you're right about that. This is the first time she's returned to Twin Peaks. Just on a bit of a tangent on that. The reason I found that out was I looked at some of her tweets before we started the pod.
Yeah.
And she's fuming apparently about the episode. What? Apparently, Lynch cut her performance down.
Oh, really?
But I mean, he's got bigger fish to fry with the finale of a show than putting her on screen for 5 minutes or whatever. Her tweet was something like, "I could care less about Twin Peaks," and I hate that because it's couldn't care less. She literally tweeted, "I could care less." If you could care less, that implies that you care. Do you know what I mean? Like the saying is, you couldn't care less.
Yeah.
So Julie Cruz, sort your grammar out next time you want to slam Lynch on social media. Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that myself. I think.
Yeah.
But like
that really winds me up. That I could care less.
It's not even the grammar though. It's just like you say, he's got bigger fish to fry. Like
yeah, she's literally put some like snotty tweet up saying like, "I'm done with Twin Peaks," and I could care less.
Oh god, that angers me. That, but yeah. Well, let's move on to the next episode.
Yeah, so we're then on to part 18. Are you okay just to jump straight into it? Mm-hmm. Do you want to rate that one first?
I mean, yeah, sure. It's 5 stars.
Yeah, big shocker, 5 stars.
that like I think I've said it for the past. God knows. I mean, I think you did it a lot earlier on in this series, but I think I'm just going to do it now. I'm going to go back and rate every single episode 5 stars.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Until
this finale, but
really,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we'll get back to that. Yeah.
Okay.
Come back to that at the end. Yeah, so we'll just jump to part 18. So I've got to go somewhere else then, but yeah, doesn't matter. We can just jump straight into part 18.
Yeah.
Okay. I apologise if I sound vague on this one because this is such a weird episode.
There's not much that happens, really, is there?
It's all the start stuff, the stuff at the start that really throws me because the first 10 minutes, there's a lot of stuff in there that you forget about.
Yeah.
And basically the episode picks up with Evil Coop just burning in a chair.
God, I actually don't remember that.
Do you not remember this? He's in the Black Lodge in an armchair, just on fire, just burning.
Sure, yeah. Sorry, I do remember that, yeah.
And I think the reason that's there is for like the juxtaposition of cutting from that to Dougie Jones gets home. This is the happy ending of the whole show. Dougie Jones turns up in Vegas, knocks on Naomi Watts' door.
Oh yeah, because like while that's burning, I'm pretty sure just after that, the one-armed man basically creates the good Dougie Jones, doesn't he?
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, you're right. Yeah, it shows the scene of him with the lock of hair.
Yeah,
creating him. Yeah.
Next to the little seed thing.
Yeah, and it's proper like Cooper in the Black Lodge going, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like you say, he ends up in Vegas.
Yeah.
Janie
E. Jones.
Joni Jane. No, Joni Jane. I give up. She answers the door.
Yeah.
And
she's like, "Oh, Dougie," and the little boy, Sonny Jones Jim, runs up. He runs up and gives him a big hug.
Daddy.
Yeah, he's like, "Daddy," and Dougie Cooper's just like, "Home."
Well, I think like Janie E. Jones, I think she actually says, "Oh, you're home." Like, Dougie, you're home. And I think he's literally just repeating that, and it's just back to the same old Dougie.
Yeah.
Which I'm guessing, but like from what we're getting from this is that is exactly what Dougie was like. Like, yeah. Dougie was just that slow and just repeated stuff like that.
We're getting the impression that this one's nicer than the last one.
Yeah, definitely.
Because the last one was using prostitutes and stuff like that, gambling.
This one's just going to be Dougie.
Yeah. So I think this is the happiest ending we're going to get from the show, basically.
Yeah.
So we go from there to Cooper. We jump back to the scene where Cooper's walking through the woods with Laura, and he loses her again.
Yeah.
And he's straight away back in the Black Lodge. And it's literally episode 1, I think this is. We get like about a 5-minute scene of episode 1 again, with a few slight differences. He's just in the Black Lodge in a chair talking to Mike, the one-armed man. And looking back now, it all makes sense. Like Mike.
Of this season.
Oh, sorry, of this season. Yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking back to the.
Sorry.
I was like, no, this is definitely not that. No, yeah, it's the first episode of this season.
Yeah, and Mike says to him, "Is it future or is it past?" Which now makes complete sense, kind of thing. Yeah. Cooper doesn't know where he is and what have you. And we go through all the emotions that we saw back in episode 1. He meets Leland again in the Black Lodge, who tells him to find Laura, which is now like his mission kind of thing. What else happens? He meets Leland, talks to Mike, the one-armed man, and he talks to the extension of the arm again, which is now a tree. Still a tree.
Yeah.
Like a brain tree. There's one little difference here that the brain tree says to him. Other than that, it's the same conversation as episode 1, I think. But
what does he say? No, I am the arm, and I sound like this.
Yeah. And he mentions a little girl down the lane.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Yeah, I forgot about that.
Do you know what that's a callback to?
No.
Audrey Horne talking to Charlie. But the bit where... I don't think I've wrote this bit. I've not wrote this bit down. Charlie says to Audrey, back in like episode 15 or something, do I have to end your story too? And Audrey replies, what is my story? Am I the little girl who lives down the lane? Or something like that. Like, pretty much word for word what the arm says. I don't know what that means, other than, is that tying together Laura's story with Audrey Horne's? That they're both like in a mental home or something. You know, I don't know, but...
God, imagine.
It must mean something, you know what I mean? Like, it's such a specific thing.
From what I took from the last time we saw Audrey was that she was in a mental home. Like, definitely. That's definitely the impression I got.
I think so.
But are we saying that, like, something along the way has turned them both a bit mental?
There's some connection there, I think. Because that's the only actual mention, but it must mean something.
Maybe.
Yeah. And... this is the scene back in episode 1 or 2 or something where the arm shows Cooper a vision of evil Cooper driving on the highway.
Yeah.
And this time, I think it just shows the highway. Does it maybe? Because I'm pretty sure that's the highway we're going to come back to in a bit.
Yeah.
And I think we've covered everything there in the Black Lodge bit. It then spits Cooper back out at the Glastonbury Grove section. And Diana's there, is that right?
It's in the car.
I think that they come out at Glastonbury Grove.
Oh, sorry, yes, they do, yeah, they definitely do, yeah. And she's actually waiting there for him.
Yeah, which is the curtain call, which, again, I don't exactly know what that means, but I mean, a curtain call normally is the end, isn't it? So are we to take that's the end of something, and this is all just something else now, you know?
Well, yeah. Carry on with the episode, and
again, it's very Mulholland Drive-ish. Like in that film, when they wake up the theory is the first half's a dream, then they wake up and the reality is very different. It feels like that, like they've gone into another dimension, just like reset everything. They've got different names, you know, everything kind of thing.
But like at this point, they haven't, though, have they?
No, sorry, they haven't yet, because they drive somewhere, don't they?
They're driving down this big highway.
Yeah.
And they kind of stop right in front of like a shed load of power lines.
Yeah, massive power lines.
Like massive power lines just going in every direction kind of thing.
Oh, sorry, I've got a call back here that I should have mentioned earlier. This is calling back to the fireman's advice for him at the very start of this whole series. This one, series 3. The fireman told him, like giving clues almost. Richard and Linda, 4:30 or 4:30, and 2 birds, 1 stone. We've already had the 2 birds, 1 stone thing. Gordon Cole mentioned it earlier. Part of the mission that him and Coop were doing. Coop told him 2 birds. I'm going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So we've kind of covered that clue already. The 4:30 is the number of miles they have to drive exactly to get to this like portal.
It was literally exactly, wasn't it?
Yeah. And Richard and Linda, we're going to get to in a minute.
We will, yes.
Is there anything else to mention there other than they get to the point?
Like they say, they just drive like 430 miles.
I'm sure Cooper's like, "Are you sure you want to do this to Diane? Because everything will change," or something like that. Like,
I think she says it to him.
Is it the other way around?
I think Diane's like think about this. Like, make sure you want to do this kind of thing. And he doesn't actually say anything. He just kind of carries on driving, and then he's like 430 exactly.
Feels like Cooper after completing the mission of getting rid of Bob, like almost like he's got a new mission now to find Laura. That's all he cares about. So he thinks he's going to find her in this alternate dimension that the fireman's told him about or something. Yeah, so there's a lot of driving in this episode.
Yeah, definitely is.
They pretty much just drive through the portal, come out at the other side, and I think they just drive to a motel. Is that right?
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else.
I mean, yeah, it's weird because like they go like they're at the 430 point, and Cooper kind of goes to the edge. It's like, ooh, does some weird dance. Oh, it's not a dance. He's just kind of like standing there like, ooh. Yeah. But and he goes back in the car. It's like, this is the place. And then he just kind of drive. They go. But before he goes, he says to Diane, he says like, kiss me because everything might change.
Well, everything might be different. Yeah.
Everything might be different from now on. And like you said, he just drive. I think there's some kind of flicker and something's obviously different now.
Yeah.
And they're just driving down, like you say, they just drive straight to a motel, I think.
Yeah. I don't know if it's straight away, but Cooper seems different in this dimension. To me, it seems more like evil Cooper than or like an amalgamation of them both. Almost.
Yeah, I don't see it straight away.
I was thinking that. Is it like more of a subtle change as it goes on?
Yeah,
kind of
because like you see it, and like they get to the motel, he goes in to, I assume, just to get the key. At this point, we see a second Diane, don't we?
Yeah, another Diane. No idea what that means.
Like, because like she's waiting in the car while Cooper's seemingly gone to just get the key or something. And Diane's just behind like a pillar and just looking around. As soon as Cooper comes out, she's disappeared.
Yeah, she's disappeared.
And like we'll go like in the next scene, we'll get into like the whole Richard and Linda thing we're on about. But I think I'll get into the next scene after we get up to that bit.
Yeah, okay.
Actually,
he comes back out the motel. They definitely seem a bit. Well, no, they still seem like.
Well, he kind of stands near a door, doesn't he, and just kind of nods towards the door to Diane as she gets out of the car.
Did he notice the car when they go into this room? I'm sure things are different when they come back out in the morning. It looks totally different.
Really?
I'm pretty sure the car's different that they get in. Right. I might be wrong on that, to be honest. I've only watched. Just to mention, I don't know if I mentioned it before. I've only watched this the once so far, so I hope to watch it more. But
yeah, I'm probably going to try and watch like the entire series again soon.
I'm going to whack these 2 episodes on again tonight when I get home. To be honest, So they go into the motel room and have the most uncomfortable, unsexy sex scene I've ever seen. Do you know what I mean?
It's just like you're just basically looking at Diane the whole time, aren't you? And she's crying, I think.
Well, this is something that I was thinking of then. They're in this alternate dimension. I don't know whether Diane remembers anything from the other dimension, but I feel like in like Mulholland Drive, in that film, nobody remembered the other dimensions.
Yeah.
They're like a totally new person when they go over. This Cooper is the only one in it. I'm sure in Lost Highway, another Lynch film, and Balthazar Getty was in that as well. He was in this series earlier. That deals with actors playing multiple parts, like weird dimensions. And even in that, they don't know they're in a different dimension. Cooper's almost the first person in a Lynch film to know that he's in a different dimension as himself. Do you know what I mean? And not like somebody else. I don't think Diane actually knows that she's.
I'm
Diane.
wondering if just all of his works are just a big, big universe.
Yeah. We could do Lost Highway, to be honest, for future review.
I'd do Lost Highway.
Yeah.
But
so just on this point, I feel like Diana's almost switched into Linda mode at this point.
Yeah.
And when they're having sex, she's like covering his face. Do you notice that?
She's literally got both hands over his face, like
almost as if she's remembering her Diane life of being raped by Cooper, and she's trying to like block his face out or something.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking anyway, watching it.
But like, I thought that wasn't actually Diane. I thought
See, I thought it was Diane at this point, so it's only afterwards I'm thinking, like...
No, I mean, like, when she was getting raped by Evil Cooper.
Oh, well, we're led to believe it was Diane. He then took her to the gas station afterwards and made the Tulsa version of her. So that memory was a real Diane memory.
Oh, really?
I'm presuming that, like, yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
He went to her home and raped her that night. Took her to the gas station, the convenience store, sorry.
Yes.
Put her in the Black Lodge or wherever and made a Tulsa of her.
Oh, God.
Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah, okay.
So it's a real memory for her. She would have been raped by Evil Cooper.
So that's what she's remembering.
I think so. Like, her memories are coming through.
That makes sense.
And that's why she's trying to block his face out or something. Even Cooper doesn't seem like himself, just like a weird robot or something.
But then, like you say, it kind of ends, doesn't it? And Cooper wakes up in bed.
Yeah.
Alone.
Alone with a message for him.
From Linda.
From Linda, calling him Richard.
But he seems very confused. He doesn't seem to be aware that who Richard or Linda is. Like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so strange.
Like, going back to that scene before, like, I'm not even sure. Like, but I'm wondering if, like, that Diane we saw was Diane, like the actual Diane. I don't know why she was there and why she just instantly disappeared. But I'm wondering if that is the real Diane, and that like at that point that was Linda, like in this universe.
Yeah, or vice versa. If the real Diane, that other Linda kind of took her over or something, and she became Linda.
Maybe. Like that, yeah. I don't actually know.
Very weird.
It's so confusing.
I'd love Lynch to get on social media and just explain exactly what he was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we go from that bit to wake up. Let's say they wake up in the morning.
I think he basically goes, like, after reading the letter. He basically goes he goes for a drive, doesn't he?
Goes and gets in his car, and I don't know how he gets there, but I think he's just driving around. Maybe he's in like
it looks like he's just driving past, and then he just decides to go in. Like,
yeah, and it's called Judy's, isn't it? The diner.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, oh, Judy's, you know.
Oh God, I didn't even think that. Yeah.
So like, I mean, you know, there's got to be more to it than that kind of thing. It can't just be a diner after all this. You know what I mean? Like,
see, I actually saw like I saw the name of that diner, and I was like, oh, why does that like stand out to me? But it's that, isn't it? It's because it's Judy's.
But it's like he knows what he's got to do. This is what I don't get. Maybe it's all part of the plan off screen he's had with the fireman or something.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
But like, it's like that Judy's pulls in, and he goes in and knows that there's a waitress there who's going to be Laura Palmer. Do you know what I mean? How does he know that? I don't know.
I know.
So, not frustrating, that's not the word. Yeah.
Frustrating.
Yeah, so he goes in. And again, it's not Coop at this point to me. It's more like Evil Coop now. Yeah,
he seemed very, like, a bit more robotic.
It's a bit like when Cooper was like on business, going places, going, have you seen this man or whatever, you know, like. And
like, obviously he sat there and he asks, he goes into a sit in the booth, and this waitress comes and gives him coffee, doesn't she? And like they say in a very robotic way, it's like, is there another waitress that works here? And she's like, yeah, but she's not like working today.
Yeah. Does she get the details off her? Oh, of how to find her?
Well, what happens is he asks that, she goes off to help free like cowboys.
Cowboys, yeah.
And the cowboys are basically touching her up.
Yeah.
And he just turns around and says like, leave her alone, and like they let her go, but they just start a fight with the one person you don't want to start a fight with, really, don't they?
Yeah, they come over and start kicking off, and Cooper stamps on one guy's foot.
I think what it is,
kicks him in the balls. I think.
No, what it is, it's like the first guy comes up with a gun in his hand. He literally grabs the gun, like snaps out of his hand and kicks him in the balls.
Yeah.
The next person pulls his gun out. Cooper shoots him in the foot.
Yeah.
The third person didn't actually manage to get his gun out, but he basically says to him like, "Give me your gun."
Yeah, put your gun on the floor. He's like, "I've not got a gun."
He's like,
put your gun on the floor. It's quite good.
He takes all 3 guns. Goes,
Yeah.
puts. I love that. He's like, so where do you put the chips?
That's such an amazing detail. That's where do I hang this? Like just on the back of it. That is so good.
And after taking the chips out the fat, he puts all the guns in there.
Yeah.
And says to the chef, the cook, whatever we call him, chef. I don't know if the oil will be hot enough to set off these bullets, but I'd stand back if I were you. And this is what to me felt very evil Cooperish,
yeah.
Because it was just like, yeah, I'd stand back if I were you.
Yeah.
And then the way he asked the waitress, he says, will you write down her, well, he doesn't even say will you, he just says, write down her address on a piece of paper. And that to me was very evil Coopery.
Yeah.
So I know.
Definitely. Yeah, so again, I don't know how he knows that this waitress is Carrie Page, I think she's called, but yeah.
It's not Carrie Fisher, no.
No. So yeah, he then gets the address and he's in Odessa, Texas at this point.
Yeah.
Drives to meet her. And the first thing he notices when he pulls up, the telephone pole outside
Number
the house.
6.
Excuse me, which is the telephone pole where Agent Chet Desmond went missing at the trailer park in the film Firewalk With Me. It's the telephone pole where that kid who got run down earlier this series was right next to. So
the number 6 electricity pole is
definitely important. Yeah. Knocks on the door, and Laura Palmer answers, going by the name Carrie Page now.
See, I didn't recognise her.
Really?
I didn't recognise her at all, but it wasn't until you told me today that it was the same actress. I thought it was someone else.
Still Cheryl Lee. I mean, I think she's nearly 50 now, or she is 50, I think, maybe.
I mean, I've seen her in this series, so, like, I don't know why I didn't recognise her, but...
They made her look a bit more...
Trailer park.
Yeah. She answers the door, and Cooper has like a fight on his hands to convince her to come with him, saying, "You're Laura Palmer. I want to take you to meet your parents were Sarah and Leland."
But like the thing that basically sold it to her, she was like, "I need to get out of here." Basically,
yeah, I could do get out of here anyway. Yeah. And she invites him in, and we mentioned off the pod. This is the point where you see the wooden white horse on the mantelpiece.
I mean, there's something you see just a bit before that.
No, it's the white horse is the first.
There's definitely something a little more important. Well, I wouldn't say it's more important, but like you see a dead body with a gunshot, bullet hole through the head.
This to me feels like dream logic.
Yeah,
this is the kind of thing you'd see in a dream, just be like, oh yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah.
It feels a bit very dreamlike. This whole thing does to me.
Like you say, like we see this dead body. While this like Carrie is just running around, like not even taking like any notice of the fact that there's a dead body. She doesn't even care about it. Seems at the sound of it.
Ignore the dead body.
Yeah, she doesn't even seem to care about the fact that there's a dead body there. But like you say, on the mantelpiece, it does actually focus on it. The camera, there's a white horse. Well, it's a wooden horse.
Like a carved white horse.
Yeah. And that's obviously calling back to many a scene throughout the series.
Yeah, there was a white horse early on in this series. Sarah Palmer, I think, twice saw a white horse. So
yeah, like in Firewalk, like I think I do remember in Firewalk With Me.
In the bedroom.
In a bedroom, a white horse.
And I'm sure there was one in the actual TV show as well where she saw a white horse.
I can't remember that. I won't lie, but like we've obviously seen a white horse. But, so I'm thinking that's just a callback. It's not nothing like. Is there anything we're supposed to be paying any attention to this white horse?
I mean, it must mean something. What it means, I don't know.
Yeah. Are we just supposed to make sense of it ourselves?
I think maybe almost just to point out that it is Laura Palmer.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And she finally agrees to come with him.
Well, she'd already agreed. She was just getting her clothes at this point, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And she comes out. It's like, well, I need a coat. In wherever we're going, is it cold?
Well, she says like we're going to Twin Peaks, Washington, and she's like, oh, Washington DC. It's like, no, Washington State. Like, this is Laura Palmer, and she doesn't know where Twin Peaks is, kind of thing. So they set off on the journey, And I'm sure we get about 10 minutes of them just driving.
Yeah, it's like very dark, and you see him driving down the road, and like you just see them both just like turn into the wing mirrors, the rear view mirror, and just keep looking right. And it's silent for the most part until I think Carrie says something.
Yeah, the one exchange that I actually remember from this bit is she mentions that there's somebody following us because there's been headlights behind them for a while.
Yeah.
And Cooper's like, oh, and checks it out, and the car just drives past them, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's like a good 10-minute scene, and I don't know why. I don't know how he did it, but, like, if I was watching that on any other film, TV show, or anything, I think I'd hate that, but for some reason, I enjoyed just watching them just driving. I don't know why.
Yeah. I've got to admit, there were bits in this episode where I was panicking a bit, purely because I was clock watching. Did you do this at all?
It was, yeah.
I'm going to come to what... Actually, I'll save that for the end because it ties in with what I think of the episode. Okay. So save that for the end. But yeah, come back to that. Yeah, so they're just driving for like 10 minutes or something. Finally get to Twin Peaks. Go like past the state line and stuff. And they go to the Palmer household.
Straight to the house.
Straight to the house. They get out and go and knock on the door. And a blonde woman answers.
Yep.
Who goes by the name of Alice Tremond.
Does, yeah.
Which is a big name in the Twin Peaks mythology, And Cooper's just like, looks just baffled kind of thing, just trying to work out what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, who did he buy the house from? And she's talking to somebody off camera behind the door. I'd love to see who that was. Like, I thought we were going to see who it was, and it'd be like, I don't know, Bobby or something. You know?
Oh, imagine if it was Bob.
You know, or I was thinking like Bobby Briggs or something. You know, just like some like daft character from Twin Peaks or something. That'd be good though if it was Bob. that'd be an ending for you.
If it was actually Bob.
And he replies back, and she says, "Oh, we bought it from the Chalfonts." Now the significance of those two names are the old grandmother from the old TV show and the film. In the TV show, I've probably got this the wrong way around, but in the TV show went by the name Tremond, I think. And in the film went by the name Chalfont.
Yeah, because we've seen, that old woman, like the woman that, like the only, I know the actress from the Adam Sandler film.
Oh, right.
She was Chalmont, wasn't she?
Chalfont, yeah. She was like I said, in a TV show, she was called Mrs. Tremond.
Yeah.
And in the film, the same actress was called Mrs. Chalfont.
Why was she changing name?
It's quite frustrating because I was telling you before the pod, I had a whole theory on our Twin Peaks podcast for the movie.
Yeah.
I can't remember now the exact details of it.
Oh.
But basically, I don't know why the change of name. I mean, remember earlier this season when that drugged up mother was living over the road from Dougie Jones? I thought they were going to be revealed as like the Tremonts or the Chalfonts. Oh. It's like they're always in the location of a Black Lodge thing to keep an eye on things almost.
She was in the White Lodge or wait?
She was in the convenience store,
wasn't she?
with a 4-marker table, and she had that little grandson who was played by David Lynch's actual son in the TV show. Okay. Somebody else for the film because it got too old by that point. Yeah. So big names in the mythology of Twin Peaks: Tremond and Chalfont. Mm-hmm. We know that the Black Lodge residents. My theory was something like they always move into a place after somebody's gone missing there, I think. Yeah. Because Teresa Banks got murdered or in the film. I'm sure they moved into the trailer after she moved, after she lived there, or before. One of the two, you know. It was, basically, they're a bad sign if they're like, you know, living nearby, someone's going to get killed or go missing or something. And I'm just taking it as if to say this house is haunted, kind of thing. Like, you know, there's
some weird
Black
shit
Lodge
going on there.
living here, kind of thing. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a deep dive on the Tremond and Chalfont mythology, but so they shut the door in Cooper's face, and he's just totally like
baffled.
What the fuck's going on?
Doesn't know what's going on at all, does he?
Yeah, they both walk out to the street, just puzzling over what's going on. And Cooper just like has an epiphany. He's like, "What year is this?" And it then cuts to it's Laura. It's Laura, isn't it? It then cuts to Laura looking at the house, and she can hear something whispered almost, and it just makes her scream, like doing that Laura Palmer scream. And all the lights in the house just cut to black, and everything goes to black.
That's the end of the episode.
Just ends on her screaming. Yeah.
Well, the last shot. Well, it's not even the last shot. It's just it's basically Carrie cradling Richard's face.
Yeah. Well, what it is, I forgot to mention it earlier in this episode. On the replayed scene from episode 1, Laura Palmer whispers something to Cooper in the Black Lodge.
Yeah.
Whispers a message into his ear, and he's like, "What?" But you don't hear what he whispers to her, and that's what it is at the end. It's her whispering into his ear.
Oh, is it?
And like Cooper's face when she's whispering. Oh. So, it's another clue there, but I've no idea what it means. But yeah, so that's the end of Twin Peaks.
That's the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Twin Peaks: The Return. That's it. We're finished.
Yeah.
And my mind is just boggled. I haven't got a bloody clue.
I haven't got a clue. I mean, there's a lot of theories. I mean, I've seen on NME today that like someone was like, "Oh, it's all a dream." It's like, oh,
I can't be arsed with that.
Yeah. I mean, I could buy it if the theory. I mean, that theory was basically just like the last episode was a dream kind of thing, and it's like it's a bit too Mulholland Drive-ish for me. That like, Mulholland Drive. The first half being a dream feels like it's relevant. I don't know if the last episode of this being a dream would be relevant to anything like, but
true.
I just think it's like an alternate dimension thing or something.
Yeah,
like
that's what I think. I think it's definitely an alternate.
And almost like he's trying to make a point about good versus evil or something, that almost like the infinity sign earlier on and stuff, and things being on a loop constantly throughout this whole series. Nothing ever ends. It's just like good versus evil forever. Do you know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
No,
like,
I can see exactly what you're saying. Yeah,
and like you thought you were going to get a happy ending at one point. But
just
no, like Cooper's got to just keep fighting the good fight forever, kind of thing. Just trying to get Laura back to Twin Peaks, kind of thing. Yeah, yeah, that's the only thing I could think of so far, to be honest. I just find it fascinating that Cooper's basically failed again.
Yeah, I think, like you say though, I think he might just, like you say, he might just be doing a uphill battle constantly to try and it's just going to go on forever. Yeah,
he'll always fight the good fight kind of thing. He'll always be there to do it, but it'll just go on forever kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, I read something last week, a review last week, as a build up to the finale. People were saying like there was something mentioned that this whole season has been about Cooper learning to be a better man with like having a wife and a kid, and he'll take those lessons into the finale. And he won't make the mistakes he made back at the end of series 2. But that's all bollocks, because he's made all the same mistakes again. And he's ended up in the same position, basically. Stuck in limbo.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah, so do you want to rate the finale, that part 18?
Yeah, I will do. I mean, from your comments earlier, I'm guessing you're going to go different to me, but I'm still giving this a 5-star. I love this episode.
Yeah, I'm still going 5. Yeah, 5-star. But the one thing I mentioned earlier, I was panicking watching this episode because I was clock watching. I was like, I had the remote just going like, there's 20 minutes left. Nothing's happening yet. There's 20 minutes left. Like, and 10 minutes left. They're still driving. Like, what's going to happen kind of thing. And I think watching it on a second watch, knowing what to expect, I'm going to love it even more kind of thing. It's just, that first watch, I was just expecting something like massive, but I love the way it ends.
No, I do.
Just like, on that screen with the house.
I thought like I should have been disappointed by that ending, but for some reason I absolutely loved it. I was deadly. I'm really satisfied with the way it ended.
And I mentioned earlier as well about how I thought I wanted something from it. I thought I wanted the happy ending that we were being teased at the end of part 17.
Yeah.
I realise now that what we've got for me is even better, because the reason I loved Firewalk with Me was all the theories that spanned out of it for years about what does this mean, what does that mean, people trying to work it out. And that's what we're going to get for another 25 years. We're going to have people looking at this episode, this finale, thinking like, what the fuck does any of this mean?
Yeah.
The amount of like the fun you're going to have come up with theories and stuff now. So I now know that what we've got is better than what I was hoping for, kind of thing. So yeah, I loved it.
Same, yeah.
5-star for every episode of the season.
Yeah, I think I'm going back and giving the same myself.
Yep. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Yep. Right, so we can basically just wrap it up there then. Quickly do social media. You can get me at Taylor1980.
I'm found at DSTE Nick on Twitter, that is.
Yep, do you know the main page?
The main Twitter is at DSTE Podcast. We also have a Facebook.
Yep.
Which is facebook.com/DSTE Podcast, or just search for Don't Spoil the Ending Podcast.
Yeah.
In the search bar, and you'll find us.
We would love to hear from you. Any thoughts on the series as a whole? We're hoping to do maybe a one-off retrospective in a few weeks or something once we've had time to.
Once we've had time to bloody take this in, like.
Yeah, to figure it out. And if you like this show, if you enjoyed Twin Peaks and us talking about Twin Peaks, keep an eye out for in 25 years when season 4 comes out. We'll come back to cover Cooper trying to catch Judy. And, yeah, we'll cover that in depth.
25 years.
In what year would that be? Like 2040 something?
Well, when I'm
2042.
When I'm 50 years old. 50
yeah, so look out for that. Yeah, so I think we're done there. So we're signing off on Twin Peaks.
Like if there's someone out there like that has been tuning in week by week to listen to this, thanks ever so much.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Yeah.
And like we are hoping to one day do maybe another series in the future. Taking a bit of a break from the series for a bit, but look out for other stuff maybe. And if we do get the next season, which we're both pretty much hoping for now from Lynch.
Yeah.
If that happens, then probably look out. You can probably look forward to us doing that as well.
You can guarantee we'd cover that. We'll just put it out there. We're thinking of doing Stranger Things, aren't we? Series 2 in October.
Yeah, we are thinking about it.
Probably won't be the same format. We'll probably tinker with the format a bit, but yeah, we're thinking of that.
As per request on Twitter.
Yeah.
But like you say, with it being a Netflix show, we can't do it week by week, so we'll probably end up just doing either one whole episode. Yeah, one big block or something. Yeah. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, so thanks again, guys, for listening to the show for all this time, the whole summer. Yeah, that was the summer of Twin Peaks. So that's me signing off. See you later, Richard. Yep. Cheers, Linda. Bye. Thank you very much. Bye. Cheers. Bye.